Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Pastor Jacob Swenson, and I am your guide. I'm coming to you live from St. John Lutheran Church and Trinity Lutheran Church here in the great state of North Dakota this lovely, lovely fall day. We're going to continue today in Luther's Large Catechism. We've been working our way through, we went through the Small Catechism, we went through the Large Catechism, and you're probably like, Pastor Swenson, we've been in this catechism stuff for a long time. And you're right. And we still have a long while ahead of us. But think of this as the pre-gaming. Well, no, stop there. This stuff is awesome, right? So congratulations for keeping at it. But this is going to set us up in a really good position for when we finish the catechism. We're going to jump into the Augsburg Confession, and that's awesome. So those of you who are listening to this, keep at it. You know, I think it's really awesome. I think you're to be congratulated. I enjoy it a lot. It's good for me as a pastor to be reading through this stuff and engaging with this stuff. It's coming out in my Bible studies in person and all this. So thank you again to everyone who's listening to this. And keep at it. What's that commercial? Stay Lutheran, my friends. Okay, today we are going to finish up the 9th and 10th commandments. We are in paragraph 297 of Luther's Large Catechism. Find it at book-of-concord.org or pick up the Concordia Lutheran Confessions. It's pretty sweet. Love the pictures. Love the editorial notes. Love the timelines. All right, let's do this. We pick up in paragraph 297. Luther writes, "For our natural instinct is that no one wants to see someone else have as much as himself. Each one acquires as much as he can. The other may do as best as he can. Yet we pretend to be godly, know how to dress ourselves up most finely and conceal our base character. We resort to and invent tricky ways and deceitful works, like those that are now daily and most ingeniously invented. We act as though these ways were derived from the legal codes. In fact, we even dare properly to refer to the law and boast about it. We will not have this called trickery, but shrewdness and caution. Lawyers and jurists assist in this, who twist and stretch the law to suit it to their cause. They stress words and use them for a trick, despite fairness or their neighbor's need. In short, whoever is the most expert and cunning in these affairs finds the most help in the law. As they themselves say, the law favors the watchful." This last commandment, therefore, is given not for cheaters in the eyes of the world. It is for the most pious, who want to be praised and to be called honest and upright people. For they have not offended against the former commandments, as especially the Jewish people claim to live, and are even now many great noblemen, gentlemen, and princes. For the other common masses belong yet further down under the 7th commandment, as people who are hardly concerned about whether they gain their possessions with honor and right. Now, this happens most often in cases that are brought into court, where it is the purpose to get something from our neighbor and to force him from his property. For example, when people quarrel and wrangle over a large inheritance, real estate or such, that they help themselves and resort to whatever appears right. They dress and adorn everything so that the law must favor their side. They keep the property with such title that no one can complain or lay claim to it. In the same way, if anyone wants to have a castle, city, duchy, or any other great thing, he makes many financial deals through relationships by any means he can, so that the owner is legally deprived of the property. it is awarded to the other person and confirmed with deed and seal and declared to have been acquired by princely title and honesty. In common trade, one carefully slips something out of another's hand so that the latter must watch out. Or one person surprises and cheats another in a matter where he sees advantage and benefit for himself. Then the person who was cheated, perhaps on account of distress or debt, cannot regain or redeem the property without damage. The other person gains the half or even more. Yet this property must not be considered as taken by fraud or stolen, but honestly bought. Here they say, first come, first served, and everyone must look to his own interest. Let another get what he can. Who can be so smart to come up with all these ways in which one can get many things into his possession by such believable arguments? The world does not consider this wrong and will not notice that the neighbor is placed at a disadvantage by this, by sacrificing what he cannot spare without harm. Yet no one wishes for someone to do this to himself. From this we can easily see that such devices and arguments are false. The same was done in former times also with respect to wives. They knew such tricks that if one were pleased with another woman, he personally or through others, as there were many ways and means to be invented, caused her husband to become displeased with her. Or he had her resist her husband and act in such a way that he was obliged to dismiss her and let her go to the other man. That sort of thing undoubtedly prevailed much under the law, as we also read in the Gospel about King Herod. He took his brother's wife while he was still living. Yet Herod wanted to be thought of as an honorable, pious man, as St. Mark also testifies about him. But such an example, I trust, will not happen among us. For in the New Testament, those who are married are forbidden to get divorced, except there is the case where one man shrewdly, by some trick, takes away a rich bride from another man. But it is not a rare thing with us that one estranges or alienates another's manservant or maidservant, or lures them away with flattering words. So Luther's saying there that, luckily we now, well, not luckily, but the fact is we no longer in Luther's time struggle so much with divorce, Luther says, but we still wrangle over our servants. So that's what Luther's saying, and I just made it more confusing, but that's what Luther's saying, that even if we don't steal each other's wives, we steal their servants. Paragraph 307. In whatever way such things happen, we must know that God does not want you to deprive your neighbor of anything that belongs to him, so that he suffer the loss and you gratify your greed with it. This is true even if you could keep it honorably before the world. For it is a secret and sly trick done under the hat, as we say, so it may not be noticed. Although you go your way as if you had done no one any wrong, you have still injured your neighbor. If it is not called stealing and cheating, it is still called coveting your neighbor's property, that is, aiming at possession of it, luring it away from him without his consent, and being unwilling to see him enjoy what God has granted him. Even though the judge and everyone must let you keep it, God will not let you keep it. For he sees the deceitful heart and the world's malice, which is sure to take an extra long measure wherever you yield to her a finger's breadth. Eventually, public wrong and violence follow. Therefore, we allow these commandments to remain in their ordinary meaning. It is commanded first that we do not desire our neighbor's harm, nor even assist, nor give opportunity for it, but we must gladly wish and leave him what he has. Also, we must advance and preserve for him what may be for his profit and service, just as we wish to be treated. So these commandments are especially directed against envy and miserable greed. God wants to remove all causes and sources from which arises everything by which we harm our neighbor. Therefore, he expresses it in plain words, "You shall not covet," and so on. For he especially wants us to have a pure heart, although we will never attain to that as long as we live here. So this commandment will remain, like all the rest, one that will constantly accuse us and show how godly we are in God's sight. Here ends the 9th and 10th commandments, where Luther says that just in case we thought we made it through all the other commandments, he says it like, this commandment is not meant for, those folk who get caught up at the 7th commandment, who don't care whether it looks right or wrong. They just want what other people have. Luther says these commandments are directed at the people who consider themselves pious and holy Christians, who acquire everything legally, even if under the table, on the sly, Luther says under the hat, things aren't exactly right. So the meaning of this commandment is, well, first of all, don't covet. Second of all, don't scheme to get what isn't yours by ways that only appear right. And in all things, treat other people and their stuff like you want you and your stuff to be treated. We're going to pause here for today. Tomorrow we're going to do the clothes of the commandments. And then after that, my plan is to move on to the Apostles' Creed, which is going to be really awesome. So I will see you tomorrow. Take care.